The hospital loomed in the darkness, a colossal silhouette against the moonless sky. Its windows, like vacant eyes, stared down at me with a malevolent emptiness that sent shivers down my spine. I hesitated at the entrance, the heavy glass doors groaning as I pushed them open. The air within tasted sterile, laced with the acrid scent of disinfectants that clung to every surface. My footsteps echoed through the eerily quiet corridors. The only sounds were the distant hum of fluorescent lights and the occasional creak of the linoleum floor beneath my shoes. My heart pounded in my chest as I navigated the labyrinthine hallways, each one seemingly identical to the last. The hospital's layout was a chaotic maze, a reflection of the chaos that had unfolded within its walls. I was searching for room 237, the place where everything had gone horribly wrong. The information I had received was vague, a cryptic message that had led me to this forsaken place. My breath caught in my throat as I turned a corner and found myself standing in front of the ominous door. Room 237. I hesitated for a moment, the gravity of the situation sinking in. The door seemed to pulse with a sinister energy, as if the room beyond held secrets that should remain forever hidden. With a trembling hand, I pushed the door open, revealing a scene that would haunt my nightmares for the rest of my life. The room was bathed in a sickly green light, emanating from a flickering fluorescent bulb in the ceiling. The air felt heavy, suffused with a palpable malevolence that pressed against my skin. Two figures lay on adjacent hospital beds, their bodies contorted in grotesque angles. The first, a man in his 40s, stared blankly at the ceiling with vacant eyes. His skin was pallid, almost translucent, and his limbs twisted in unnatural ways. Tubes snaked from his body, connecting him to ominous machines that beeped and whirred in a macabre symphony. The second figure was a woman, her face obscured by a curtain of long, disheveled hair. She lay motionless, a grotesque parody of sleep. The rhythmic beep of the heart monitor next to her bed was the only indication that she was still alive. But something about the stillness of her form sent a chill down my spine. As I approached, the air in the room seemed to thicken. The temperature dropped, and my breath materialized in front of me like ghostly tendrils. I couldn't shake the feeling that unseen eyes were watching, scrutinizing my every move. I reached out to touch the woman's shoulder, a gesture born of both curiosity and dread. As my fingers made contact, a jolt of icy electricity shot through me, causing me to recoil in shock. The room seemed to reverberate with a low, guttural growl, as if the very walls were alive with malevolent intent. "Who's there?" I stammered, my voice echoing through the desolate room. There was no response, only the oppressive silence that seemed to swallow my words. I turned my attention to the man on the neighboring bed, hoping to find some answers in his vacant gaze. But as I looked into his eyes, a profound sense of dread washed over me. It was as if the abyss stared back, a bottomless darkness that threatened to consume my very soul. Suddenly, the woman on the bed stirred, her hair parted, revealing a face twisted in agony. Her eyes, once hidden, bore into mine with a malevolent intensity. The room seemed to pulse with a sinister energy, and a voice echoed in my mind, a haunting whisper that sent shivers down my spine. "You should not have come." I stumbled backward, my heart racing in my chest. The air in the room crackled with an otherworldly energy, and the temperature continued to plummet. I felt a presence in the room, something ancient and malevolent that defied comprehension. The man on the bed twitched, his limbs jerking in a grotesque dance. The machines attached to him whirred to life, their screens flickering with unnatural patterns. The green light overhead intensified, casting elongated shadows that seemed to wreath and dance on the walls. A guttural growl filled the room, emanating from the very walls themselves. I could feel the malevolence closing in, suffocating me like a vice. Desperation clawed at my chest as I fumbled for the door, the oppressive atmosphere driving me to the brink of madness. As I stepped into the corridor, the door to room 237 slammed shut behind me with a force that reverberated through the entire hospital. The air, once thick with malevolence, now felt eerily normal. I stumbled away from the accursed room, my mind reeling with the surreal horrors I had witnessed. The hospital, once a place of healing, had been transformed into a realm of unspeakable nightmares. Room 237, a portal to some twisted dimension, held secrets that defied the laws of reality. I stumbled through the labyrinthine corridors, each step a struggle against the invisible forces that sought to drag me into the abyss. As I reached the exit, the glass doors swung open with an otherworldly creak. I stepped into the cold night air, the moon casting a pale glow over the desolate hospital grounds. The echoes of desolation lingered in the air, a haunting reminder of the horrors that lurked within the abandoned corridors. I dared not look back as I fled from that accursed place. The hospital, with its vacant windows and malevolent silence, faded into the distance. But the memories of room 237 and the unnatural entities that dwelled within would forever haunt my nightmares. The boundary between the living and the dead had been breached, and I was left to wonder if the echoes of desolation would ever release their grip on my tortured soul.